with one word we're going to share with you today, we can make your life easier and a lot more fun.
Welcome. This is episode number 7 of the Jeff and Steph show. And it's our mission to help people get healthy once and for all in their life, in their health, in their relationships.
Yes, we do. And what we're going to do today is, with one word we're going to share with you today, we can make your life easier and a lot more fun. So that's what we're going to do today. And what happened there?
I don't know. My phone is telling me that I have a bad signal.
Okay. Hey, I see that somebody's on the call. If they can just let us know if they can hear us or not. I know we were having some technical difficulties. Just let us know if you can hear us. Give us some hearts or
thumbs up or hearts, or drop us a comment so we can see who's out there.
So
there we go.
Anyway,
so Thanksgiving's coming up this week.
It is.
And
you didn't know that 2 days ago, did you?
No, I didn't. I kind of forgot about it until I got a text from Zach, who's in college.
Yeah, and we were talking, and what happened is Zach sent a text. He goes, "I can't wait to come home because I've got." You guys talked about food and all these different things, but you said to me, you go, "Well, Thanksgiving's not next weekend," and I said, "Yes, it is." So it was an interesting conversation.
It's coming up fast. This year went faster than I think we all thought it would go.
This year, a lot of people want it to be over with.
I know, right? So Zach's coming home on Wednesday. So I get a text message from our son who's up in college. And it doesn't say hi, Mom, or anything. It just says, "Can you use penne pasta in the mac and cheese this year?" We started a couple of years ago. We found this really ridiculous mac and cheese recipe. So that has become the Thanksgiving tradition. So that started the conversation.
So he's not coming home for us?
No, for the food.
Yeah. And the cool thing about that is, with the challenges of what's going on with the pandemic, Zach started college, and I know schools have been kind of crazy, but last year or this year, school started 2 weeks early, I think.
Yeah.
And so now he is off from Thanksgiving until after Christmas.
Yeah,
right?
like January 11th or something like that. So
he's home for a month.
Well, actually, we get a good 6 weeks with him, so that'll be awesome. So good morning. See, we've got a few people joining us. Give us some hearts and likes if you can hear us, and love to see who's all on. Drop us a comment. I don't know why I can't ever remember and figure out what. No, that's the wrong thing. Oh well,
just
it doesn't matter.
Let it go. Anyway, we're gonna talk today about one word that can make your life easier if you implement it into your life.
And it really is. It's the thing that we figured out. We actually weren't, I don't think we were conscious of it when we were doing this in our life, but we figured out in the past couple of years really the secret and what this one word has done in our life. And then we started going back and looking at places in our life previously. And it's like,
when we did it, game over.
Yeah,
it really was. Exactly. And what's funny, you use the word secret, and I don't really like that word. I know, but quit butting in on me. I don't like the word secret because everybody uses it as like that's the secret sauce to everything.
Right.
It's when you really use this word in your life, it just automatically makes your life more magical, and it feels like there's a secret to it.
Yeah.
And
it's definitely not just this easy poof, things are gonna magically appear, but in a way it feels like that.
Yeah,
so,
it does. And,
anyway.
And we're gonna tell you some stories about it works at any age.
Yep.
We have we just talked about Zach coming home. Zach has a couple of stories that we could share on and on. We use a couple hours telling stories about him once he uses this. So it's been really fun.
Awesome.
Fun to watch and fun to become aware of this stuff.
So we've got some people joining us here. Hey, we've got Becky from out on the East Coast and Kyle Langang. Good morning. Good to see you guys. Lori.
Hey, Kyle. Go Lakers.
Lori Langford, good morning. Great seeing you guys out there. Appreciate you joining us and taking some time. So healthy once and for all. That really it's become our mission to just really share from our life experience the things that have made our life tick, have really created this next level for us.
But healthy. We created this healthy once and for all, healthy relationship once and for all, healthy bank account once and for all, and healthy body once and for all.
Yeah.
So it's all of it, but mainly we want to make sure that it's once and for all. So many people dabble in so many different things, and they give it a try.
And that'll be something that we'll be talking about today with this word that is really something that made all the difference in our life, is that once we figured that out, it became the once and for all for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. We didn't even think about that.
Yeah, exactly. So should we dive into it?
Let's do it.
All right.
What's the word?
So the word is commitment. Being all in, like being 100% committed to.
There's no such thing as 99% committed.
No. You're either committed or you're not committed.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, we used 100% committed just to say all in, but there's no such thing as 50% committed, 99% committed. It's all in or nothing.
I'm not. Yep.
And how can you tell if you're committed or not?
So I think one of the biggest ways that you can tell whether you're committed to something or not is the language that you use. So a lot of people will say, well, I'm going to try to do that.
Yeah. What does Yoda say?
Yeah.
Remember?
Do or no do. There is no try.
Yep.
Yes, even you, Mr. Non-Star Wars person.
I do remember that one.
You do remember
that
that
little
one.
green guy. I really like him. But.
Any other Star Wars fans out there? So that's a huge part of whether or not you're committed to something, is that your language is going to tell you. You know, it's, I'm going to try to lose that 10 pounds, or I'm going to try to have a better relationship with my son. I'll do this for a little while and see how it goes. So you can just tell that there's hesitancy and you're not completely committed by some of that.
But on the other side of the road, if you're in a conversation with somebody that's 100% committed to something, they might not have reached their outcome yet, but you already know they're going to get there.
Yeah.
They can feel it. You can feel it in their language patterns.
Absolutely.
When you know they're going to accomplish something, they're going to get it.
Yeah.
And it's already a done deal.
Well, and there's a difference there too, and it's not even so much for this one in the language that you have, because there is. It's like you start talking about, well, I am, or I will have that. There's not any hesitancy any longer, but you also adopt this attitude of no matter what, like no matter what happens, or no matter what obstacles get in my way, this is going to happen.
Yeah, you don't give a shit who's around or what's going on. You're doing it. So, as an example, if you want to lose weight, if you're like committed to losing weight, and you're going out with your friends, you don't give a crap if they're eating nachos in front of you or whatever. You're committed. You're in an atmosphere where that can consume you. But if you're 100% committed, that doesn't even faze you.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit. So one of the things that we said at the beginning is that living by this word, like being committed, being all in, actually makes your life easier. And how it makes your life easier is that it makes decisions, the decisions that you make in your life become really crystal clear, right? Because if you're completely committed to whatever that outcome is, if you're completely committed to having a marriage that's not going to fall apart, if you're completely committed to having an amazing epic love affair, depending on where you're at in your life, if we're going to talk about something else in a second that's a huge part of that, but I just completely lost my train of thought.
Where were you going?
I don't know.
Well, anyway, once you're committed to something, you take your mind completely focuses on that, and everything else just kind of falls to the wayside. So, as an example, we'll talk about our marriage.
Yeah.
Okay. We've been married for 29 years, but I would just say in the last decade, when we had our talk, is when everything changed. Everything changed that night at 3, 4 in the morning in the car, sitting out by the park. And we really asked ourselves, we asked each other, we're like, do you want out of this first?
Well, and to lead up to that though, like we were not happy.
No.
I mean, we were
faking it.
Yeah.
We were dabbling in it.
We were dabbling in our marriage. We had a great family. We loved our boys, but we had become roommates.
Yeah.
And we got to that point where we, ended up being a long night.
Yeah.
But it was looking at each other and saying, look, this is not what I want. This is not what I signed up for. Mm-hmm. Do you want out or do you want in?
Yeah.
And so we basically in that moment decided.
But here's what happened. I want to make sure they hear the story. When we're sitting in the car, we went back and forth like you do a lot of times when you're dabbling and stuff. It's just like, you bring up the same old stuff, same old story, same old shit. Just kept going back and forth. And I finally just said, do you want in or out of this? Mm-hmm. And there was this gap of time that felt like minutes, but I'm sure it was just seconds. And I know Tony Robbins says it's in the moments of a decision that your destiny is shaped. Mm-hmm. It was in that answer that I was going to get back that was going to change the direction of my life and our lives and our kids. And you're like, you know what? We have way too much committed to this. I'm in. And then you asked me the same question. And I took it to heart to really think about it. And I said, I'm all in too. And as soon as I said, I'm all in, I said, I'm in this too. I said, we have to be 100% committed to this no matter what. And so what you talked about, your secret, the magic, that completely changed our lives that moment.
Yep.
Because here's what happened. All these little things that we talked about in the past that we wouldn't dive into, that we wouldn't talk about, it changed.
Yeah.
I was not scared to go into any conversations with you at all.
Yeah.
But on the other side of those conversations was more freedom, more bliss, more fun, more laughter, more everything.
Yeah. And here, to me, this is one of the most important pieces that people need to understand with this, is that a lot of people talk about commitment, but before they decide to commit to something, they have to know the path. They have to know the how. And this used to be a huge thing for me, is, I'm very organized. I like things structured. I like to know.
That's it.
But you do not have to know how. You do not have to know how you're going to release the weight. You do not have to know how you're going to turn your marriage around or your relationship around. You do not have to know how you're going to change careers if you're miserable in your job. You don't have to know any of the how. You simply have to be committed to going in a different direction, to changing the path, committed to that result or that outcome.
And once you get 100% committed to that thing, it's kind of like the universe opens up and goes, okay, I've been waiting for you to get 100% committed to whatever you want. Yep. Now I'm going to start opening the doors that you need to be open. Yep. So people will show up in your life, ideas, opportunities will just start to just pop up, but you're aware of them because the way the brain works, there's a little thing called the reticular activating system. It's kind of like an antenna, and whatever you're looking for, you will find. Yep. So as soon as you're committed, this thing goes to work, and it always has been going to work. But now, whatever you're committed to, it's looking for.
Right. Yeah. Instead of the obstacles that you used to be looking for, it's now looking for what is going to get you to that place that you are 100% committed to.
And that the reticular activating system. Every time I think of that, I think of an antenna coming out of a brain. It would be Zach. Zachary was 7. I'm thinking 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Was he? It was around.
I think it was about 8.
But
8 or 9.
Every Friday night we used to have a family night. We'd eat dinner together and we watch a movie, play some games, and all that stuff. Well, one night Steph and I got the chance to pick the movie, and we picked Karate Kid.
The original
one.
Karate Kid. Yeah.
Okay. It was before the second one was out. So we watched The Karate Kid, and both boys were like, I don't want to watch that, because they didn't want to watch anything that parents picked up. That's just how it was. Anyway, we watched it, and Zach got infatuated, 100% committed to karate. He's like, I want to learn how to do that. I want to learn how to do that. And this kid, once he learns something, or once he's got something in his head, holy shit, he's going to think about it morning, noon, and night. And that's what, there's another example of commitment, 100% committed. So he gets 100% committed to this, right?
To wanting.
To wanting.
To do karate.
To do karate.
He wasn't in it yet.
So we kind of blew it off like, okay, we don't know anything about karate, and all we thought of is, it's a very expensive sport. It's something that I don't want him to try. I don't know nothing about it, so I'm scared about it.
Right.
So we just kind of let him do his talking. But he never stopped. So he's driving down the street with Steph one day, and they're going to the grocery store. And on the way to the grocery store, he's usually playing his little Game Boy. But he looks up, and right across the street from the grocery store,
that we go to all the time.
yeah, has karate. And he sees it. So guess what? Every time he gets in the car, it's like, hey, let's go this way. Let's go. I want to go to the karate. I want to go to the karate. Finally, we got fed up, and we're like, okay, that's it. Let's go. So we went in, and they're like, oh, you can do a whole week or two, and you get they call it a gi. It's an outfit that they wear, and they get to do this for like 2 weeks for $20. We're like, okay, we'll give it a try. Well, after the first night, we already knew he was committed. So then we had to look at monthly and all that stuff. Here's what the little shit did. Is he got so committed, he wanted to have a black belt.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long it averages to get your black belt, but he had his black belt in like 3.5 years.
It was less than 3 years.
Was it less than 3 years? Okay. Well, the reason for it is he was so committed. We're talking about 100% commitment. He was so committed to hit the karate, is he started telling little white lies to us. So he would come home and he'd go, oh, my sensei, my teacher says I'm supposed to come 45 minutes early to my practice. And we're like, okay. So we would drop him off at practice because there was this little sitting room. We'd watch him walk in, and we'd go home until it was time to pick him up. Well, come to find out months later, the teacher never told him to do that. What he was doing is he was going in to sit to watch the class in front of him that had the belt that he was going to be working for, and watch them do they're called katas, but they're like different movements in a row, and has to be a certain sequence before you can pass it. So he would sit and watch that. He would come home and practice it here.
And he would not just practice at home all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
If we were in the grocery store, he was doing his moves down the aisles.
Yeah.
If we were in Home Depot, if we were, anywhere that he was standing, waiting in line. So this is where that comes in, right? Your language, your actions that you're taking. It's like, if you're committed because you think about it all the time. You talk about it all the time.
Yeah, he did it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. He did it so much that I became like a human punching bag. So, this is, and if you have any younger kids and they want to get into karate, I recommend to the fathers, don't ever do this. So, Steph and I had gone to the gym one Saturday morning early, and we came home and we had a lot of energy in us from working out. And so we were making breakfast, and Zach came down the stairs. It's probably 8, 9 in the morning, and he is groggy and all this stuff. And so as a dad with a son just getting in karate, I went up and I was like doing karate. He was like, and then I had a long sweatshirt on. He grabbed my sweatshirt, and he grabbed my arms, and he pulled him down, and he kicked his knee up as a defensive move. They were
just learning how to do defense.
So he kicked me right in the groin really hard. Really hard. Yeah, she remembers. And I went down on the ground. He was sorry. She was laughing. She was taking all the air that I needed from the room to suck back into me. But it was a funny thing. But that's what was going on. I mean, I'd be doing dishes at night when he got taller and older, and all of a sudden I would see this flash right by my head, and I would look, and it was his foot.
Yeah.
He would like bring his foot up behind me and pretend like he's going to hit me in the head. Didn't hit me, but those are those things when you get committed.
Right.
you don't go to work 9 to 5. And then at 5 o'clock, you're like, you're done.
Well, and you don't see the obstacles anymore, right? It's like there really are no obstacles because you are completely focused on how do I make this work. Now, when I say that there are no obstacles, that does not mean that there aren't going to be challenges and obstacles that show up in your life. Of course there are. Like, once we became 100% absolutely committed to our marriage, yes, it was amazing and it completely shifted, but we still had to work through our stuff. Mm-hmm. But it made it easy to do because we knew. Well, we redefined. We knew what the focus was.
We redefined obstacles.
Right.
Obstacles were not going to stop us.
Right.
It was like, okay, this came in. That would be one of those things. And we'll share this on another call. Steph and I have great communication where if I need to share something that is deep and dark and it's going to suck a lot of times, I'm just going to say, hey, I need to be raw and real with you right now. So that's an indication that I need her presence. Mm-hmm. This might not be fun. This might suck, but we're going to do it.
Right.
And that's how we've kept our healthy. We don't hold anything in anymore.
And I don't think we mentioned this already, but what happens really is that the fear goes away. Mm-hmm. Right? Because when you get to a level of commitment and you get to that being all in your marriage, on yourself, with your health, whatever it is, other relationships, like really and honestly, the fear goes away because you know that no matter what, you're going to figure it out. You know that no matter mm-hmm. what, you're going to find a way to get there to
and
make it happen.
How.
And you don't care how.
You don't care
how.
Yeah,
to get back for that.
That's what most people do. If you get into something where you want something, you're always right away you're thinking about, well, how am I going to do that? And then once you're 100% committed, you could give a shit how you get there.
Right, because a lot of times the how is not going to be what you thought it was going to be. It's going to be something different. There's going to be things that show up, that the universe opens up, that your little antenna finds. It really truly is magical what happens when you get to that level, and it becomes really a moment of self-love, like, if you will, to not get too deep or woo-woo on it, but it's like, how committed am I to me? How committed am I to my life that I want to make this area, whatever it is, absolutely what I want, or I can no longer stand to live like this anymore. I mean, there's always different motivating factors there, but it's really about how committed am I to me and my life. Mm-hmm.
And the example we talked about before he came on the show is, let's say that you go to the doctor for your annual checkup. Mm-hmm. Go to your annual checkup, and you're in your 40s or 50s, and the doctor, checks he looks at your chart from last year, he looks at your chart this year, and he's like, oh, you gained 8 pounds this year, and he's like, I'd really like to see you lose maybe 10 pounds, and I'd really like to see that. We're going to up your blood pressure pill a little bit and your cholesterol, but you're doing okay there. We just have to monitor that. Let's lose the weight and we'll see you next year. And you go up the next year and you've gained 3 or 4 pounds. And the doctor's like, well, that's not too bad. We're going to keep you on the blood pressure pills and the cholesterol, but let's just monitor all this stuff. But I'd really love to see you lose the weight. Mm-hmm. And you're dabbling, you go home, and then maybe for the first month you try, you try to lose some weight, but you're just not committed to it. Here's all the language coming in. But listen, this is what happens the following year. The following year you go in, he gets his test back, and he says, he goes, we got some cancer, it's stage 3, stage 4. He goes, you really need to change your lifestyle around, and we need to do some stuff. Guess what? You become committed instantly. Yeah. Instantly, you're 100% committed to eating the foods and the exercise that you couldn't do before. All of a sudden, you can do. So you could have always done it.
Right.
But why should you wait? Why should anyone wait for a doctor or a lawyer or your wife to give you divorce papers before you're going to get committed to whatever you're going to do?
Right.
So
I mean, and there are some times where it's something you want, right? Something that's out here that you really want that's going to make you committed. But honestly, a lot of times it's the pain or the stress or the
worry
or whatever it is, the challenges that are going on in your life that are what really are going to make you take stock. It's like, what is happening in your life right now that you cannot stand for another minute? What is going on in your life right now that you no longer want to put up with, or that you don't want
My
to...
golf game. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I got a golf lesson today, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
but there you go. Like, you're 100% committed.
I played I played yesterday, and somebody asked me how it was. I said it sucked.
So-
I hate the game. Want to sell my clubs, but I'm taking a lesson.
Got a lesson today. So anyway, so it really is. So ask yourself that question. You know, it could be something small, right? It could be maybe you're simply committed to this holiday season with your family and friends and making it absolutely the best experience possible. So think about, okay, how can I become all in and completely committed to that and making that the absolute best thing, you know, that I could be. Maybe it's you really need to commit to releasing 20 pounds, 25 pounds in this next year. Maybe it's you've got a relationship that is just not where you want it to be, and you want to make that relationship even better, or you want to take it from being on the brink of, you know, falling apart to being an amazing relationship. So whatever it is, really ask yourself that question. What is something that I'm no longer willing to tolerate, or what is something that I really want? And then look at your language and look at what you're doing and determine, are you committed or are you just dabbling?
And you'll be able to tell how committed you are by the results you're getting. Results do not lie.
Yep.
If you want to look at anything, just look at your results.
Absolutely.
If you can talk a good game about your finances, but what's say in your bank account? You have a really great relationship with your spouse, but what kind of relationship do you have? How do you communicate with her? Can you share anything and everything with her, or are you a little scared to talk about these two things? You know, how committed are you? What are the results you're getting? If the results you're getting with your spouse are that you're fun, you're laughing, you're having a great time all the time, you can talk about different things, you want to spend time with them, then the results are that.
Right.
You know, what about your teenage kids? What kind of relationship do you have with your teenage kids? You can tell by how they want to hang out with you, by how they communicate with you, you know?
Yeah. So anyway, that's
You're done talking?
it. I don't know.
You know, this is so fun. I love this because when we first started this, she was like, "Oh shit, I'm not going to be able to talk. I'm too scared." You do a lot of the talking. Yeah, that's good. I like it.
It's much more comfortable when you're by my side. Like I enjoy having the banter.
Sucked. Last week sucked.
Yeah, that was
difficult. First of all, we didn't know what was going on with our technology,
but we weren't in the same place. So
I'm kind of excited to get off of this call to watch this one to see if everything's on.
Yeah, we have the screen the right way. We have hopefully
too
the
many
sound.
freaking screens here.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 3 screens. I can't know which one to look at.
Anyway, so thank you so much for joining us today. Again, time is really one of our most important resources, and we absolutely appreciate the time that you take, whether you're watching us live. So if you're catching us on the replay, please drop us a note or message. Please share this. We really would love to get this message out there to as many people as possible. So, you know, share this, whether it's the replay or you're watching us live. Drop us a note. We'd love to hear from you. What are you committed to? So what are you going to make a decision to today after you've watched this, or maybe think on it a little bit this week? What are you committed to in your life right now? We'd love to hear from you and talk about your results and how we can help you.
I'm committed to a better golf game. What's you committed to?
I'm committed to having an absolutely amazing time with our family when Zach is home for 6 weeks, creating some really great magic memories.
Cool. All right. Remember, today's choices create tomorrow's experiences for generations to come. See you next week.
Thanks. Have a great week.